Right, well, as well as your normal setup of what you need to do when you're sat on your box station, if you like, probably the most important thing for me is to get your rollers positioned correctly. It's without doubt the biggest mistake I see when I'm out coaching every day. It's people don't get the rollers correctly to both keep the pole safe and make them more efficient on the bank. So what I want to run through quickly is how I like to have my rollers, a few little steps that I do, a couple of rules that I keep to make sure that they're perfect for how I need to be fishing all day, just to make everything nice and smooth for me. So the first thing I want to talk about is the distance of your rollers. Often people struggle with balancing the pole out and it falls up and down when it's coming off the roller because the roller's too far behind them. The rule I like to go with is that as long as you're fishing anywhere between 13 and probably up to 16 meters, then if you have your rollers at 2.5 sections and 2.5 sections behind you with your two rollers, 2.5 sections up to the middle of my number 6 section, and then 2.5 sections to the start of my 13 meter section. That gives the perfect balance of my pole, meaning I can ship all the way through and the weight of my pole's never shifting forwards or backwards until I'm past my first roller, which is really, really important so I don't bounce any bait out them little pots that we're going to do. The second thing that I always want to make sure is that I'm always trying to create a right angle in my roller when it's sat on my roller. The last thing I want to be doing is have my roller slightly on the angle, which is going to cause my pole to rotate as I ship out and cause my pot to spill really, really easy. Another thing that's going to help me keep everything nice and tight, save spoiling bait all over my peg. Also, what's worth mentioning is using the middle part of your rollers. For me, I'd never ever use any other roller, the one that has a middle joist in the middle that's going to support my pole. So by having one of them, it's going to let me always have my pole in the middle of my roller, so there's no chance of my pole tipping over in the wind and breaking them expensive sections. So by having, in this case, I've got a wind blowing from left to right, as I'm stood looking at the camera. By having my pole the right-hand side of these rollers when I'm sat in my box, it's always going to blow into that middle bit, making sure I'm right in the middle of my roller, no chance of any damage happening. Right, so once I've got the distance and the angle of my rollers correct, the next thing that's really important is to get my height bang on. The last thing I want to see is, I see this again so many times when I'm out coaching, is anglers shipping really, really low, struggling with the back, trying to get the pole out because the rollers are set too low to the ground. Ideally, how you want your pole is when you're sat in your box position, your pole wants to be set just above your knee. What that allows me to do is simply push my pole through, and as soon as the weight shifts, as soon as my pole comes off my back roller, I can touch my knee, and it's just a simple case of pushing your pole along your knees. Again, that helps so much with stability and keeping your pots, keeping your rig nice and straight, keeping everything nice and tangle-free at that end, while also remaining lovely and smooth, and there's no jolt under my pole which could potentially damage my pole. Also, it's going to help a lot when I'm shipping back. Again, when I'm talking about those middle stanches of my roller, if my rollers are set at dead on the right height, I can literally ship back, touch that middle section of my roller, and then it simply allows me to push my pole all the way back without even looking. It's going to do all the job itself, and I can concentrate on what's going on without fearing my pole bouncing all over the place.